Hey, shalom, shalom, Akim, Akwath, listening out there. So I want to say shalom, call Allah, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives to do so. To the scattered elect, scattered across the four corners of the earth, among the heathen nations and those that look like the heathen nations, known as the speckled birds. And to the Akim and Akwaf listening and learning, I say Shalom. I am disciple of Pariam, a follower of Great Millstone, coming to you with a lesson in truth and sincerity. So I think I'm going to title this lesson, Birthdays Are the Worst Days. All right, a little inside joke there. All right, so I'm going to start out. This is Colossians 2 and 8 in the Good News Translation. It says, see to it then that no one enslaves you by means of worthless deceit of human wisdom, which comes from the teachings handed down by human beings and from the ruling spirits of the universe, and not from Hamashiach. All right, because we're not to, we're called to be separate. We're not supposed to be, delving in these things that are, these so-called holidays or days that are made by man. So I'm going to read to you, this is Jeremiah 10, and it's titled, a satire to idolatry. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. It says, this saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Okay? And that's just a good chapter to go into right there as well, because it goes into, essentially, pagan holidays like so-called Christmas and really the history of Nimrod in there. But this is, yeah. So the next one I want to touch up, this is from this blog post right here, History of Birthdays. And I'm going to put all these posts in the description box below. So it says here, this is a snippet that I pulled from it. It says, while many cultures developed birthday celebrations separately, the Egyptians were the first ones to get the party started. It says when Egyptian pharaohs were crowned gods, they were birthed. That means that the first birthday celebration was marked the birth of a human, but rather the birth of a god. Okay. And I think Wisdom of Solomon 12 goes into that really well, as far as the things that they were doing and committing on these days of celebrations. So this is another one from Wikipedia, so a wiki birthday I pulled. It says in the Torah, the only mention that is made of the birthday refers to the celebration of Pharaoh's birthday in Egypt. So it's just kind of like what we were reading before, as recorded in Genesis. This is 40, where this is where Joseph is. He had been in prison, so for supposedly trying to get with Pharaoh's wife, and so he was put in there. Some people had lied on him, and so he's interpreting the vision from these two workers of Pharaoh. Okay, so this is Genesis 40 and 20. It says, and it came to pass on the third day, which Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and the chief baker among his servants, and he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hands. All right. It says, but he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. Now think about that. So Joseph interpreted that, this man's death, he was telling him the truth, and that, kind of interesting. The man had to hear that. He probably was like in denial. He's like, nah, whatever, yeah. So that's the Genesis 40 and 22. Oh, and just, the picture below, that's That's in the office right there. This is, my wicked supervisor, Eve. So yeah, just I put a deal that on there that she's down with this shit, with the things of this world. So may judgment come unto her. All right. So now I'm going to go to Job 1. This is Job's children, and basically kind of depicting how they celebrated birthdays, So this is verse 4 through 7. So I'll start out. It says, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. Verse 5, and it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. All right, for Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed Yahweh in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. See, Job was vexed because he knew that his kids were going off. Okay. This is 1 and 6. It says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came among them. Okay, and again, the sons of God, those were those are us in our right, in our rulership, in our right stand. But he shows you that the Satan came on to the Lord, and he worked for the Lord. Okay. Verse 7, and the Lord said unto Satan, where comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, and said, from going to and from in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Okay. So he said, hey, where were you? He's asking, yeah. So moving on, I'm going to go to Job 3. And this is 1 through 11. So here, this is Job's lament, and then we're going to go into why does he lament. All right. So verse 1, it says, after this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day. All right. And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said there was a man child conceived. It says, let the day be darkness, and let not Yahweh regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. So he's talking about his day that he was born. Okay. For verse 3 and 5, let darkness and shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. And this is verse 6 below. I'm going to read the NLT. It says, let that night be blotted off the calendar, never again to be counted among the days of the year, never again to appear among the months. So this is clearly talking about birthdays, okay? And the day that he was born, it's supposed to be a solemn day, because you don't supposed to exalt yourself above the Most High. All right, this is Job 3 and 7. It says, lo, let thy night be solitary. Again, it says, let no joyful voice come over therein. Let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Verse 9, let the stars of the twilight therefore be dark. Let it look for light, but have none, neither let it see the dawning of the day. Verse 10, because it should not because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor did sorrow from mine eyes. Verse 11, why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Okay, so he's lamenting. He's like, man, it almost feels like it would have been better to be in the spirit world among Yahweh. All right. So we're going to jump down to verse 17 and 18, because this is, why he's lamenting. So for verse 17, 18, he says, Basically, it would have been better off to be a stillborn, to not be so vexed with the sins and wickedness of this world. So let me read. It says, verse 17 says, "There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest." It says, verse 18, there the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of their oppressor. Okay. And now I'm going to jump to Jeremiah 20 and 18. It says, "Wherefore came I forth out of the womb to see labor and sorrow, that my days should not be consumed with shame." All right. Or I'll read the NLT version of that. Same verse, Jeremiah 20:18 NLT. It says, "Why was I ever born? My entire life has been filled with trouble, sorrow, and shame." So now I'm going to go to Job 4, 7 through 9. Here is, a wicked man received a wicked man's reward. He says, "Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same." Verse 9, "By the blast of Yahweh they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed." So now we're going to go to Job 18. It's like Job 8, 19 to 20. And here Yahweh rewards the good. It says, "Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow. Behold, Yahweh will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers." So now I'm going to jump up to Job 14 and 13. "Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave, that thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past." And, we're going to go into a precept on that. It's Isaiah 26 and 20. It says, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed." And that's going into, these thermonuclear missiles, tearing this place up. But the Most High saving those elect, and those are the ones going into the chariots. When he's talking about hide thyself for a little moment, yeah. All right, going back to Job 14. I believe we left off at verse 14. It says, "If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come." Okay, look, Job right there clearly understood reincarnation. Okay, so it says it right there. Go to Job 15. It says, "Thou shalt call, and I will answer thee. Thou wilt have a desire to work of thine hands." Verse 16, "For now thou numberest my steps, dost thou not watch over my sin?" All right, so now we're going to go to Matthew 14 and 1 through 11. And this is going into the account of Herod's birthday. And, remember, Herod was an Idumean, all right? Edomite, so-called white man. And his lineage did go up all the way up into Rome and spread out. So, no, they weren't, just done away with, as the so-called Christian church says, all right, so this is Matthew 14. It says, "At that time, Herod the Tetrarch right, heard of the fame of Yahweh Shai. And it kind of clarifies, it right there, talk about the Tetrarch, because his father was Idumean. It says, Slaki, I know his father was, I believe it was a Greek or Roman. But yeah. Verse Matthew 14:2. And said unto his servants, This is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. Verse 3, For Herod had laid a hold on John and bound him and put him in the prison for Herodias' sakes. His brother Philip's wife. And Herod was about to go off here because he committed idolatry. But verse 4 says, For John said unto him, It is not lawful for thee to have her. Verse 5, And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude because they counted him as a prophet. And that John is John the Baptist. Verse 6, it says, But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. Verse 7, Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. Verse 8, And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, Give me here John Baptist's head on a charger. Straight wicked. Verse 9, And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. Verse 10, And he sent and beheaded John in the prison. In verse 11, And his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. Okay. And it's showing you, every time you see anything regarding birthdays in the scriptures, man, it's not good. It's wicked. All right, so let's go to 2 Thessalonians. All right, so 2 Thessalonians 2, 3-4. It says, Let no man deceiveth you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Okay, and this is Esau falling from his glory. Okay, just as Israel fell from ours first. Okay, verse 4, it says, Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself he is God. And that's what he's finna do here real soon. Okay, and that's going into the MO to the TB. Okay, it hasn't came yet, but it's coming. Though it tarry, wait for it. So this is showing that Israel fell first. This is going back to Jeremiah 17:4. It says, And though even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Okay, so yeah, we fell first. We were given the covenant. Not all the other nations, but Israel was given the covenant. Okay, but we fell first. Okay, and that's showing that. And now we're in a land that that of our captivity. Here we're going to remember ourselves as spoken in the book of Baruch. So let's go to Jeremiah 20 and 12. It says, But, O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Shai of hosts, that triest the righteous, and seest the reins of the heart. It says, Let me see the vengeance of them, for unto thee have I opened my cause. Okay, so this is a testing of righteousness, and then the vengeance is to be seen. And speaking of that vengeance, I want to go to Sirach 25:7. bear with me for a second. All right. So this is Sirach 25:7 says, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. All right. Now that right there will be the ultimate gift. And I pray this lesson was edifying, and you, Akim, just stay true, stay true to the word, and just pray daily. So I just want to say, Abba Kwam Yashala, Shalom.